Sort of home now on this first alert weather day. Many of you waking up early this morning to a tornado warning in San Francisco and northern parts of San Mateo County. That has since expired, but nonetheless, heavy rain, heavy winds in many parts of the Bay Area. Zoe, get us caught up to speed on what we should expect as this morning progresses.
Yeah, it's this line right here that was causing that tornadic activity, but it really wasn't anything crazy. There really wasn't even all too much spin in the atmosphere. So I'm sorry, maybe you woke up early, but stay in bed. There is no reason to worry anymore, other than maybe if you're dealing with potentially some flooding on those low-lying roadways, and a bit of ponding is expected as well, because right now widespread heavy rain continues to fall all across the Bay Area. It fell a lot yesterday. It continues to fall today. We're looking at widespread watches and warnings in effect, though. The entirety of the Bay Area is lit up in some sort of color, indicating some sort of warning. Well, the areas in light gray or light tan, I should say, these are wind advisories that are going to be in effect until 10 a.m. this morning. The areas in orange closer to the coast and right next to me, those are high wind warnings, as they could get upwards of 50 to 60 miles an hour. Those wind gusts through about 10 a.m. Now what I'm standing on right now, the area in yellowy green, this is a coastal flood advisory, as the king tides that are in place right now, mixed with a lot of rain that's currently falling, does have the potential to create a flooding at low-lying areas. Then you notice the tornado warning that has officially been canceled. So do not worry about any tornadic activity, San Francisco. We should be good to go, just dealing with some rain. Along our coast, though, it's very windy, and with windy conditions and a lot of rain, there is actually a storm warning that's in effect. So do not even attempt to head out on a boat this afternoon or this morning. This morning, the winds are definitely a big issue, especially farther south, where we are looking at those wind gusts upwards of 45 miles an hour in places like Los Gatos and the Santa Cruz Mountains, San Jose upwards of 35 miles an hour. A little bit less gusty farther inland, 25 to 35, but either way, it's definitely a breezy to windy start to our morning. Those wind gusts will begin to kind of moderate out, push even farther north, and it's still going to be a breezy to windy afternoon, but likely no need to have that wind advisory in effect all day long. We're going to continue to see the rain, though, at least throughout the next couple of hours. Things to keep our eyes on. That first round of rain last night, that impacted us. There was a brief break, and now we're looking at a secondary, heavier line of rain right now. Current radar is definitely heavy. It's this line of showers and even an isolated thunderstorm embedded in the system that did create the cause for panic when it came to tornado threats. But luckily, no need to worry anymore. Tornado warnings, like I said, have been canceled. We'll continue to see this rain, though, making its way farther east and farther south through about 10 a.m. This is going to be an early morning storm system. So 10 a.m. we're already seeing some breaks in the activity. And then after that, we're just expecting a bit more isolated shower activity throughout the afternoon. Not to say an isolated raindrop or two can't be ruled out, but it is going to be a lot drier later today, even with mostly cloudy conditions. So don't expect these rainy conditions to stick around all day long. Definitely going to be seeing some breaks in it. And by tomorrow afternoon, we'll also be seeing more breaks in the activity as well as we step out over the next several days. Again, we are going to continue to see a lot of this rain falling, but San Francisco, again, we are now past the heaviest of it and past that tornadic threat. We're going to continue to see that line of rain pushing farther as that low pressure system makes its way overhead. Again, an isolated shower or two possible this afternoon, but it's really going to be a lot drier later today. Again, we are going to continue to see drier weather into Sunday, although you might wake up to a little bit of fog early Sunday morning, especially for our more inland communities. It's going to be a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and enjoy it while you can, because by Monday, we're already expecting our next storm system to arrive early in the morning once again. These are early morning storm systems. So luckily, it's not a rain all day scenario like what we saw yesterday. Yesterday was pretty gloomy for a lot of us, and it's not going to stay that way into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful afternoon for any outdoor plans. Definitely choose tomorrow over today to enjoy yourself. By the early parts of next week, again, we'll see a little bit more rain, but then drying out. By the mid to later parts of the upcoming work week, we're going to be seeing quite a lot of sunshine, dry air, beautiful weather. Back to seasonable conditions, what we expect this time of year. I hope everybody can get out and enjoy the mid to later parts of this upcoming week. Keep an umbrella handy today. You won't need it tomorrow, but you'll want it early Monday morning. Back to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Zoe.
What a wild start to this Saturday morning across the Bay Area. I'm sure many of you woke up, if you live in San Francisco, to that tornado warning. And many of you also woke up to some strong winds, some heavy rainfall. That system quickly made its way past the Bay Area throughout the earlier morning hours. Just a couple of isolated showers this afternoon. But I do really want to recap the tornado warning and the tornado threat because it was a pretty powerful system that blew through the peninsula. Let's take a closer look at exactly what caused the tornado warning to be issued, because there was definitely indicated rotation, even though it wasn't necessarily confirmed or there wasn't any pictures of it. There wasn't an observer on the ground to identify it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. So here again, we are seeing more widespread activity, and we can see that line of showers and even a little bit of rotation from this system as it's making its way over the peninsula. Then as it makes its way about 6:05, we're going to continue to see, again, look at that. That is what we call a hook echo, or a very weak one at that, but either way, that is a very clear signal that there is some sort of rotation embedded in this storm system. That storm system quickly moved off way to our north, and then after that, the warning was expired at about 6:09. So again, when it comes to rotation, this is how we know if a tornado is actually occurring. Rotation and whether or not that rotation is reaching the ground. So did we have rotation? Yes. The reds and the greens right next to each other and very close proximity means that there was rotating air, and definitely a rotating column of air heading towards San Francisco, which is the reason that they did issue the tornado warning in the first place. It was issued again at around 5:52, and then that area of rotation moved directly over the peninsula. It moved over the west side of San Francisco, made its way up towards the Richmond district and even up towards the marina as well. But again, that is the center of that circulation as it made its way over the peninsula. However, you notice how weak it is. Those colors aren't nearly as bright or as vibrant as they could be. And that lets you know it's a very weak rotation that made its way over the area and then weakened and weakened even more as it's made its way farther north and farther east. So there might have been a brief time that there was radar indicated rotation, a brief time that there might have been a little shear or a way for that rotation to reach the ground. Whether or not it was confirmed, though, still a big question mark. The National Weather Service does have to go out and survey damage. And I know there was a lot of downed tree limbs and downed power lines. So there was definitely a potential that this could have been our first tornado here in San Francisco since at least 1986, when the records go back to, because we haven't seen a tornado warning here in the city since 1986 or before. So do keep that in mind. It was a very rare occurrence early this morning. Luckily, it could have been worse. I know there was power outages, there was downed tree limbs, but I hope everybody stayed safe this morning, and we're picking up the pieces into this afternoon.